Hey y'all, and welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Just a trigger warning for today's video. I will be speaking about incest. So it's sex abuse related content. So if you don't want to hear it, if you feel like you're gonna be triggered, please don't watch the video any further. But if you would like to know what incest is and hear a bit more about it, and also inbreeding, please do continue watching the video. As some of you would know, my name is Lerato Era, and welcome back to my channel. Let's get straight into the video. So incest is basically when people are related and are not allowed to marry each other, but they engage in sexual acts with each other. So whether it is two consenting adults or a child and an adult, either way, they're both illegal. So it can happen in a biological or adoptive home setting, and as long as you may not marry that person or engage, or lawfully you're not allowed or you shouldn't be having sexual acts with that person, then it's incest. Incestuous acts include sexual touching and fondling, oral, vaginal and anal penetration, or having children undress, or performing in any sexual fashion, in person or on film. So you force, bribe, threaten, or pressure a child into sexual activity. I think it is emphasized more for children because they are more vulnerable to like being manipulated and thinking that whatever is happening is okay. So most reported cases would be rape and sexual assault. So it makes the incest cases very scarce or very low. But I think it is the law enforcement's responsibility as well to say, okay, if it's a child, you ask who raped this child, and if they say the father or the uncle, then you put it under incest because that's what it is. And then some go unreported because the 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 victim feels ridiculed, especially if you're like a child, whether you're a boy or a girl, and they question their sexuality. If you're a boy and an uncle or a dad or a brother does something sexual to you, not only do you question your sexuality, but then if people find out, they might question, are you gay, what's going on? Or for some reason they question your sexuality, even though you're the victim in all of this. Same with women or girls. If a woman does something, or older woman does something to you, then you question yourself, and then if people find out, they may also question you, because I guess maybe they think you allowed it or you wanted it. That's why they will question your sexuality, because in this case you didn't know. Some people don't know that it shouldn't be happening, like people who, for instance, say, oh, I thought it was normal, I thought dads have sex with their children all the time, only to find out they don't. So it's very complicated. And also, some families do not want to report because they feel ashamed. One, that it happened, so the uncle raped the niece, or the uncle raped the child, or the male cousin raped the, you understand? So they feel ashamed that one, it happened in the house, in the family. Two, they love the children, so they love this boy so much or this girl so much that they don't want to report them to the police. But also, if you love the victim so much, you should report it, because they're the ones who will deal with the consequences of whatever happened. So sometimes also the police will persuade the families not to report, and or they will simply turn the child away. If maybe the child is alone or something, they'll simply turn them away. I don't know, because maybe they just feel like it's a family affair. Go fix it at home, because once you report it, it becomes legal, and it just becomes a whole big issue that you can't go back on. I think some of the perpetrators can gatekeep the victims ability to go to law enforcement or to get justice, because if you live under the roof of the person who's abusing you, then one, if you report them, where you gonna go? Like, you're scared because you don't know where you're gonna go if you report them. And they, if they really, like, if they know and are aware of the consequences of what they're doing, then they might keep tabs on you. They might know where you are, who you're with, whatever you're doing, because they don't want you telling anybody. So they have to know your every move. So, and then the other thing is that if you do report the person and the police do nothing about it, because one, maybe you don't have proof that it's happening, or because maybe you're a minor and then the person abusing you is a dad. If the dad comes to the police station and says, no, I didn't do that, it's very difficult and unfortunate for the victims, if the parents or whoever is doing it or abusing the child still has power over them, because yeah, they can gatekeep all your actions. And if you report them and then you have to go back to their house because now the police didn't do anything, then you are just gonna be punished. You are in more trouble, I guess, than you were before. And then the whole incestuous act, just being sexually abused like that, breaks the trust of the child or whoever for the people who are supposed to be caring for them and taking care of them and protecting them. Because if my uncle can do this to me when I trusted him, if my brother can do this to me when I trusted him, I mean, come on. So incest can happen between fathers and their daughters, fathers and their sons, siblings, mothers and their sons. Listen, cousins, it is a family affair. So I have two stories, well, not like entire stories, but two examples that have happened in South Africa, because it's very common. It's very common. Like it's scary. So there's one where the dad actually imprisoned the daughter and actually had children with her. And it seems like even that generation, the ones that were born from the daughter, he wanted to get into sexual acts with them too. So it's like a lot of mental illness. It's a lot of what the hell. It's just like, how do you even do that? It's like pedophilia, molestation, statutory rape, like all in one bowl. That's what it is. And it's traumatic and scary, to say the least. Then there's this 16-year-old who got groomed for sex by her dad. They sent each other nudes and he actually proposed marriage to her. She's 16. You're the dad. So for me, it's like, at what stage do you look at your daughter and say you like them sexually? At what stage do you, oh my goodness, it's, at what stage do you say, I want to sleep with my niece? You know? Okay, anyway, so this dad and the 16-year-old daughter, they didn't know each other for long. They only met 2 years prior, so when she was 14, and that's when the relationship started. He bought her like expensive gifts, phones, whatever you name it, she got it. And the child obviously enjoyed it because she's like, oh, my dad loves me so much. And I think this is where we will say, oh, but where was the mother? That time maybe the daughter thinks, oh, my mother's going to be jealous of me, you know. Or maybe if the mother questions this type of relationship, then the daughter is going to be like, why are you jealous of me? You jealous because my dad loves me more, or you jealous because my dad is buying me this, that, and the other, not knowing that the mother is actually seeing something that could be dangerous for the child. So the teenager, the 16-year-old, actually said that she was not in love with her dad. It was just a friends with benefits relationship. Not with your dad, child. So, and apparently the dad also wanted to, also started sexually grooming the 10-year-old daughter that he had. So it's like these dads will target their own children. Like, you will have 5 daughters and you will try all of them. Where in the world? Where in the world, bro? Anyway, the 16-year-old's dad bought her lubricants, condoms, emergency contraception pills, and it's like she's 16. Like I said, or maybe I didn't mention this, but like there are children or teenagers who think it's normal for their dads to sleep with them. They think everybody else's dad or everybody else's brother or everybody else's whoever is abusing them does that to them as well. And then they find out that no, that's not how it goes. Not everybody's abused. Not everybody sleeps with their cousin. Not everybody, you know what I mean? And then only do they come to the realization that, and I think we all can imagine how painful it is to realize that you were abused sexually when all this time you were in denial, or you plainly weren't aware, like you were a child, you didn't know that what was happening to you was wrong. But anyway, so the dad was charged with rape and incest, and yeah, it's ridiculous. The next one is a son and a mother. So after the husband of the mother passed away and the father of the son passed away, if I remember correctly, the son is 23 years old and he actually has mental issues. So he's mentally disabled. He's not okay mentally, right? So after the father and the husband passes away, this son starts sleeping with his mother. He starts raping the mother. And so this goes on for 3 years, and the mother, I guess, doesn't report it because it's my son, doesn't want to get the son in trouble, and so that's why she keeps quiet about it for 3 years. So she could be charged with consanguineous incest, and the child could be put in a mental facility, I guess, and not be charged because, mental illness. So some issue or some reasons why incest happens is high stress levels, unemployment, alcohol and substance abuse, lack of adequate social support structures, which contribute to incest. I mean, I don't think any of us care about the reasons why it happens. It's just the trauma for me. It's the trauma and the trigger. Like, can you imagine seeing that uncle, seeing your dad, seeing, especially if you were a child when it happened, when it started happening, and you grow up to know that actually my uncle is not supposed to do this, my brother is not supposed to do this, my dad's not supposed to do this, and then one, you're still living in their house, so now you know it's going to continue to happen and you haven't spoken out. So the reality that is going to happen to you every night, and you have to see this person during the day and act like everything is okay, or two, you've reported this person, or you have the sexual relationship has ended and it's a couple of years later, but the person is still around you. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time you see them, you just remember what had happened. Besides the trauma and the psychological effects that are left with the victim of incestuous acts, there's something called inbreeding, which happens when there's mating between related individuals who are closely related by ancestry. So you guys' ancestors are like one clan, like you're a family. And it goes against the biological aim of mating, and it shuffles the DNA. So it messes up the genes of the next generation, or like the child that you two are gonna have, because you guys are such close family. So it causes recessive genes in the offspring. So anybody who you share 50% genes with is basically you guys. It's incest because you guys are that related, and then so the offspring may be born with autosomal recessive disorders, congenital physical malformation or abnormalities, or severe intellectual deficits and mental disorders. So that's a lot of medical terms, child. And so basically, it causes physiological effects, mental effects, and physical effects, like literally, like physically, like what we can see on the outside. So it really messes up with the child's, it could mess up with the child's genes and so forth. So it could cause deafness, blindness, enzyme defects, muscular and septal abnormalities. The child could be stillborn or die shortly after birth. And it is said that first cousins who have children that child could be born with mood disorders and depression. And so people will inbreed usually because they're trying to keep traits and power within the family. So say you are a royal family, you know, and you have power, or you just have high standing in society, and you're just trying to keep the surname or the power, or you're just trying to keep the reputation within the family. So they'll have children among themselves to keep the bloodline going. And yeah, so basically they don't want anybody coming from the outside coming in and then later claiming their royalty or whatever the case may be. So that's a little bit on incest. I hope you guys enjoyed that and that you learned a thing or two. If you have anything more to add, I'm sure there's plenty more. Please do so in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe while you at it, like and share this video. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next video.